Hey, what's up, guys? This is Marquise, and you're watching the Keyse Review. Hey, what's up, everybody? We got a special one for you. Some more PlayStation stuff I wanted to go over. I kind of wanted to do a big thing since it's like so much news that's coming out for the PlayStation right now. And it seems to be a point of focus with everybody. So I just wanted to kind of go over it with everybody and some of the stuff, pictures, and blah, blah, blah. So I'll start off by showing the video, and I'll explain what I thought when I start seeing the video, you know. So basically, when we go in and look at the PlayStation during the event, they had just kind of unveiled it. And to me, they always put like some little subtle hints in it. You know what I'm saying? So we always seen like a little bit of, you know, oh snap, this is what they, you know, they probably going to sell the system. They're probably going to sell the system, and they finally did. So basically, once we got it, basically it just started looking basically like this. So it was like these little balls and stuff like that. I'm not sure if these are like molecules, maybe. I'm thinking that's what I kind of thought, maybe some molecules or something like that, you know. Then making that big wave right here, and you can just see like it just like right here it just looks gorgeous, like the graphics, and this is just on 1080. You know what I'm saying? Just on 1080 and just looks good. And then it's kind of crazy how they have the blue showing through, you know, like going through the black and stuff like that. And I'm guessing this kind of, I'm not sure if they meant it this way, but this, to me, if there's the artist like kind of interpreting what they're doing, this is kind of like the building blocks, you know, the building process. You know, this is kind of how we carved everything in the system, you know. So it's, you know, it was very interesting, you know, video to say the least. Very, very interesting. And then you see, you know, stuff starting to open up a little bit, open up, and then we get to it right here. Here's the system. So, and I'm just a sucker for that blue. Blue's my favorite color anyway. So if you look ahead on, like when I seen that, I'm like, oh snap. And then there's a system, the PlayStation 5 with the controller, the DualSense. And then right here, you can just see the detail. I don't see, you know, I mean, different strokes for different folks. I kind of like that, sandwich-like, you know, design they have. And then we see on the buttons right there, I thought it was like ports, but they're buttons. And then the curve right here, you see the USB Type A and the USB Type C right there. And then this is like the power on button. And that's the PlayStation 5 with the DualSense. I just thought, you know, it just looked gorgeous right there. I like how they etched out or carved out the PlayStation logo on the side of it right there. I even like the unorthodox look with the drive. And then they sold this again. And then I'm actually going to come back to this graphic in a little bit. So they're looking. And then it was like, okay, this kind of looks the same. Wait, no, where's the drive? Oh, snap, they're coming out with two of them. And I think this is an extremely smart idea, man. This is kind of where you have to kind of like adopt how they, you know, doing it in the cell phone stuff, you know? So that was very, very smart. And of course, the DualSense we've already seen, charging. And then here's the camera. The 3D headset. So like at this point you're like, whoa, they selling accessories too. Like Microsoft didn't even do that. That's all, the whole set right there, man. Like, yes. You know, like dang, Sony, like bravo, you know. So that was basically that. You know, the PlayStation 5 logo. Here's both the systems again together. So the only difference that they say is going to be with these two systems is that you're going to have the regular PlayStation 5 is going to have the Blu-ray drive in it, and then the digital edition is not going to have the drive. They said otherwise it's going to be 100% identical outside of that. So there's not a bigger difference than that. Everybody's like, oh, maybe they did this, they did that. No, Sony came out and said that there's no difference as far as what they're telling us. There's no difference with the drive right now, so you shouldn't be seeing anything, else that's different. So let's go on to the next slide. Those like a side view. I just like that Sony inside. Like, man, dude, like it's gonna be interesting to see. Like, people's like it's gonna be a big system, which I have a slide for that too. But people's like, oh, it's gonna be a big system, which is fine. But just the aesthetics, like who thought of putting the Sony logo inside of the flap right there? Like stuff like that. Like it's just the little stuff like that makes it interesting with Sony, so like I was like, that looks awesome, that looks amazing, so then we have the system. People that says talk about it's laying flat. There's both the systems right there laying flat, so we'll be able to lay flat. Now from the looks of it, if you guys kind of look at the bottom of the system, it looks like they laying it down on the pedestal. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's a whole separate pedestal, or maybe that's the same pedestal that you use it to stand up on, and then you can just use it to lay it down flat. So I'm really interested to see how that works. Here's another view. This is going to be one I get. I'm gonna get the disc version. I think it attracts to me. I still use like my Blu-ray movies, for especially the Blu-rays that I really like to watch. And then it's just better natively instead of trying to stream it and everything like that for Blu-ray discs, because especially considering networks, regular consumer networks, you're not going to really push as much data over the lines as HDMI cable can. So that's the one I'm gonna get. Here's a picture laying flat. This just looks nice. Again, that PS logo. I like how they cut it out right there. It just gives it something, There's the system standing up. This is going to be the digital edition. So I'm seeing a lot of polls that saying that a lot of people is not going to get this version. I think it's going to be the other way around. Honestly, unless you're somebody like me, more of a hardcore gamer and stuff like that, there's no reason to get the one with the disc. All the games are going to download directly to storage. If you got good internet, you can just download it overnight, or if you're at work, you can go on the PlayStation Network app from your phone and tell it to download the game directly to your PlayStation, and then there you go. But I like the digital edition too. I just thought that was smart going with both the systems. There's it laying flat by itself, and then there's the system right there standing up. It just looks nice. The black right. Like, this is going to be the first time, because I thought the Xbox Digital Series looks pretty nice on Vice. This one really looks nice. I kind of always like architecture and architecture-y stuff too, so I guess I'm more of a sucker for it. And then for the people that saying it looks like a router, it's like weird, because like it's like, what does a router really looks like? Like, how do you determine what a router looks like? That's just what the designers do. And to me, I still don't even think it looks like a router. If you really look at it, I think people just being people on the internet. So we're going to get to the peripherals, which is, the first peripheral and the most important is going to be the new DualSense control. So I like the redefinement, no touchscreen, no touchscreen, just a touchpad on it. So we got that. Here's another view on it. You see the USB-C right there. You see the share button, you see the create button, you see the translucent buttons for the D-pad, and the X triangle square circle right there. The regular shoulder buttons. You got the adaptive trigger right there. Now, I'm not sure if I don't think it's sold in this video, but on the back of this controller, it looks like there's some grooves on it. I'll see if I can pull it up later. I couldn't find it tonight, but I don't know what video I looked at, but it looked like there's some grooves, so it could be something that could clamp onto the back of the controller. So just note, on the back of the DualSense, there might be something that can clamp on the back of it, There's a charging station, so they have a charging station, so fits all in scheme. One of the guys has said, I think it was like one of their marketing VPs. Let me boot up my notes, because there we go. It says that they had told the team to work on everything, basically, by, just work on everything while they was making the PlayStation 5. So everything looks like it was made for each other, because they basically made it at the same time. They didn't make it like a separate process. When the designers and the engineers were working on everything, they kind of worked on everything together to make sure everything would just flow. Charging base without the controllers. You see that PS logo at the top, right? Media remote. So there's a couple of people that went on my Facebook this week and was talking about this, that they didn't really have a official place. They had an official PlayStation controller, but they didn't have one that was made by Sony themselves. So you have to kind of look at this controller. So there's a couple of things that point out to me. So there's a TV button, which means that could be a power button for your TV, or maybe used to change sources and stuff like that. And then to the left of that, you notice there's a microphone there. So that might be for the voice chat and stuff like that for the PlayStation. So I find that to be very interesting, because it brings up a question: is there a microphone in this remote too? Is there a microphone inside the PlayStation? We don't know. There's still some details they're leaving out. Here's a side view of the controller. Looks like it's going to be curved to the hand. It looks like it's going to look awesome. Looks like the 4 buttons at the bottom, and then you got a PlayStation button at the bottom too, if you notice that. So you hit that, and that'll take you to the main menu right there. Here's the 3D Pulse headsets. So looks nice. So usually, me personally, I like to play it with my sound system, but who knows, maybe I'll get this just to even see how they work. And maybe I'll go to somebody's house, maybe like what if I go over and visit my mom and want to play, this might be a good bet to just have some headsets around with me. So I'll probably pick these up too. This should be the dongle for that. So usually, the Pulse 3D uses its own dongle, its own wireless transmission, so it doesn't interfere with anything else, I'm guessing, and probably sounds better too. Here's the HD camera. So if you notice with the HD camera, the design right here. So now look at this next slide. So if you look at this next slide, this is the camera mounted onto the top of the TV. You can see that from the back, and I'll actually go back, that little lip that's right there. So you have a lip that's right here, and then you also have this little part back here. So you can just see that part right here opens up, and then that lip right here in the front, you just mounts right to the TV, as you can see in the picture. So the lip holds it, and then the little back can expand, open up, and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting. Instead of just the regular webcam design where you have this little thing, they actually integrated the base. And there's everything together. There's the big shot, DualSense, both the PlayStations, the headset, controllers, and the camera. So now, here's some of the specs for the PlayStation 5. You have, of course, you have the AMD Ryzen 2 inside of it. You got 8 cores, which will simultaneously delete thread 16, up to 3.5 gigahertz of frequency boost. They said this thing should be able to run a boost all the time. And with AMD's new Smart Shift technology, it can go back with the item, the RDNA 2 that they have in there, where it can divert power to where it needs it. The RDNA 2, it's not even out yet. So it's interesting. We're gonna get into the game systems. It should be coming out in September. When I get some more news, I'll actually do a piece on it. But as far as the gaming system, they are definitely coming with the gaming system this year. For the PlayStation, is going to have ray tracing. So ray tracing, you've seen a lot of video on. It has like the way it reflects off light, the way it interacts with the environment, everything like that. 36 compute units. Compute units are kind of like, how can I explain this? Compute units are kind of like modules. So you have multiple things in the module. So you're going to have the cores in there. You have some other processing units in there. That's what's called a compute unit, and then you might hear something else. So like NVIDIA, their equivalent is CUDA core, stuff like that. It's going to run off a frequency of 2.23, I didn't put it, but gigahertz. So 2.23 gigahertz. And then it's going to have about a little bit over 10 teraflops of, raw data that it can pass through. System memory is going to be about 16 gigabytes. One of that, actually that's a typo right there. That's 443. 443 gigabytes per second. So I'm not sure. Probably when I was trying to erase something, that's a typo. But it's 443 gigabytes of data. The storage, I'm hearing is using a custom Phison controller. It's going to be about 825 gigabytes of storage that you can use. Raw data alone is about 5.5 gigabytes of just raw data. And that's double of what the Xbox One has. I mean, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X going to have. And most even the high-end SSDs doesn't come close to it yet. We should get some Samsung controllers. I know their top of the lines, their Pros units is going to be about 5 gigahertz per 5 gigabytes. I'm sorry, but yeah, we'll have to see when it comes out. If the data is compressed, they said it can do anywhere between 9 to like 20 gigabytes per second, which is a freaking crazy number. You're also going to have an internal PCIe ME slot in there, so you'll be able to expand. Sony has said that they're going to be testing some SSDs out. I would personally like to see Sony just come out with their own. Yeah, it's going to be pricey, whatever. But I would like to see them come out with their own, where it's like the same spec as the SSD that's built into the system, onto the main board. So, it's cool to have a third-party one, but I'll be happier if Sony just came out with one that's, that they made with the same controller and everything like that. Disk drive. So for the disk drive, you're going to have an Ultra HD Blu-ray or UHD Blu-ray disc that's going to be compatible with. Obviously, it's not going to be available in the digital edition because the digital edition is just that. But for those that want the disc, you're definitely going to be looking at getting a UHD Blu-ray that you can use. If you have the game, you don't have to worry about internet or anything like that. You just pop the disc in, and then it's going to automatically start saving them to the SSD. And my guess is that once you start doing that, it might load up faster than maybe downloading from the internet. And then, for what I understand, like for these games, how they made the architecture is that you can install them in parts. So you can get the first couple of levels downloading, you start playing it before it's even finished downloading, so that would be interesting to see. As far as video output, it's going to be using HDMI 2.1. I'm going to do a series about that. I'm actually expanding. I've been writing, some notes, and I'm going to do a whole kind of like TV thing. So look out for that. But HDMI 2.1 is going to be 4K. They said about 120 hertz or 8K 60 hertz. I've said in a previous video, I'm not really looking at 8K at all. We're barely at 4K. I'm very, very interested to see what they do in 4K. The head of Peripheral Digital had even said that he's gonna definitely hit that number, or at least that's what he's trying to get at. So to have a Gran Turismo game that runs at 4K, that runs at 120 hertz is gonna be awesome. It's also gonna have variable refresh rate, where that links up to the monitor, and it syncs up the frames, so you don't get any tearing and stuff like that. And then it's gonna have other technologies like automatic switching, and it'll change over the game mode and stuff like that. So I'll explain more of that into my TV series. Audio, the audio is going to use the Tempest engine audio tech. I love audio, and the biggest thing about this is that it's going to be able to support hundreds of streams, and it's going to be 3D audio. So that's going to be really, really amazing. I can't wait. They saying they took 2 modified RDNA cores, separately, and put them into the system. I got 3D audio there, and I got the 100 channels there. So, I mean, that audio engine is going to be sweet, man. Like, I cannot wait to see what this thing does, So, moving on. Hidden details. So, like I said before, I wanted to get back to some of that stuff. So I want you guys to look closely at some of these pictures. So now, if you notice some of the pictures, you can start to see some stuff. And I forgot who saw this or started posting it, but I've seen it like on every site basically by this time. If you notice, that's the system, the DualSense, and the HD camera. And the grooves and stuff like that. So those grooves and stuff is actually the buttons. So it's going to be triangle, X, square, circle. Like, that's pretty interesting, that it's not just like regular like grooves and stuff like that. It's the actual the shapes of the buttons. They put that inside the design of the PlayStation. So that's inside the lip on the top left. On the top right, that's going to be the bottom side of the controller for the texture. And then on the by the camera, the HD camera right there, you see it on the inside of the back, that's right over here. So you can see that right there. The controller is going to be right over there. So you guys can see that. That's engineering. That's, I don't know what designer had did that, but if whoever designed that into the system, bravo, like you are the real MVP for that one. Like I would have never noticed that probably until like 2 years after I owned the PlayStation 5, you know? So that's some cool hitting, details. That's just like some, it's almost like a Easter egg for consoles, so that was interesting. Okay, so now for the size. So there's been some people that taken it upon themselves to kind of like measure out everything and match everything up with the PlayStation. So this is what they're saying, that the PlayStation should, kind of size up to all the rest of the systems. Now, as far as size, like I think my favorite PlayStation design has to be the PlayStation 3. I like all of them, minus maybe the PlayStation 1. But otherwise, I usually like all the PlayStation. But the PlayStation, it was just something about the PS3. Like it felt like you had that girt on it. It had some weight. Like it felt like it was something that almost like a man will own. And then it looked sexy enough for a female to have. So like it was just all around like a good looking system to me. And probably one of my favorite designs. And then of course you got all the Xboxes there just about. And you see those designs right there. And then you see the in the middle, you got the Xbox Series X right next side to the PS5. I do believe the PS5 is this big. The Xbox Series X is going to be fat, and the PS5 is going to be tall. So if I had to put analogies into it, I would say the Series X is going to be like that linebacker in the football, he's just ready to go. And then the PS5 is going to be like the basketball player, that 7 foot Anthony Davis player, so that's what, if I had to put any analogies onto it, that's what I feel. So let's go on to the next one, which is going to be VR. So one reason why I wanted to bring up VR is a couple of reasons, because we know we still going to get some VR games. I'm not sure if Astro Playground is going to be a VR title, but Astro started out on a VR. That being said, if you guys notice, like with some of the colors and everything like that, like there's a lot of similarities with that, the headset and the rest of the PS5 system. So I kind of took a shot right here and kind of matched them up, and I was like, man, you cannot tell me that they didn't make the VR with the PS5 colors already in mind. Those things match up almost perfectly. So by the time they had finished the VR, they was already thinking about the PS5 right then and there. It's the same color scheme, like just look at it. Like this whole thing is just the same color scheme as this guy right here. Like there's almost no difference, So that's interesting that they did that. I also pulled this, which is another video that's right here. This is some prototypes that Sony's working on. It's pretty much interesting, so let's go ahead and play it. Where is he going? Yeah, it's going. This is a long screen. I probably should have edited this out, but take a sip of water. This is their tech demo of the technology they're working on. So as you can see right here, he has no buttons. All this is basically like motion sense. I find that to be very, very interesting. That's just like, you going by your car and like waving your hand, and then it just senses it, So motion sensing looks like it's going to be the future. And I think if I'm a betting man, I'm going to put that some of this technology is going to be on the VR2 for the PlayStation 5. Like, look at this one. They're trying all kinds of stuff right here. Like all kinds of hand gestures, 1, 2, 3, bending the thumb, all that stuff. So, it's just going to be very, very interesting to see if this technology is going to make it to the VR2 and the PS5. Here's a tech demo right here, where they're experimenting with stuff, moving around, picking up stuff, interacting with the environment, stuff like that. So as you can see on the top right, the guy is he's with the look like an Oculus almost, or some kind of unit right there, and then he's using these prototype controllers in order to move stuff around. And then you can see on the main screen there's a virtual world where he's picking up sticks, he's picking up balls, building blocks and stuff like that. So, I mean, I really, really do hope Sony come out with something like this. I mean, we'll probably be a year or two before we see anything with the next VR. They're probably still going to do stuff with this current VR, and they're not going to get rid of it just yet. But definitely think, and know that Sony has VR definitely in their plans. Here's a little sculpture figure. I forgot what you call these things. Somebody correct me in the comments when you guys see this video after I release it. But he just, this is just awesome. He's just like moving it all around, just virtually. And I can just imagine playing take Detroit, for instance, the game Detroit. Imagine playing that game with this technology. Like, man, I hope they come out with another Detroit. That was a damn good game too, by the way. Detroit was awesome. Very, very good game. Like playing keyboard, basically, closing hands, thumbs up. That's amazing technology right there, guys. Like, man, if they can do it. They even show like what's failing, see this? So you see the fingers not moving over, stuff that they have to work out still. I thought this was interesting. They even showed stuff like this, the thing been in the thumb's not going around by the index finger. Like they're just like, this is like video like over a couple of months old, by the way, too, just to let you guys know. So I might have shared it on my personal page, but I don't think I shared it on the Keyse review. Here's, squeezing the palm and stuff like that. And then what they're gonna do after this is spray some solutions on their hands to simulate a sweaty hand, and put some saline on it, basically, so you can see them, about to operate this controller, this prototype controller with a sweaty hand. And you can see it makes no difference as far as the controller is concerned. Of course, we're not going to get a big, bulky, ugly controller like this. They're going to make it a lot better, but, we'll definitely see what, Sony comes out with. If they come out with this. I really do hope they come out with these controllers. It's going to be expensive, but man, if we can get the experience, this one, they're about to say with four and the opposite. So basically you put stuff on your fingers and your hands and stuff like that. So like, basically like the women, like to wear rings and stuff like that. We'll see it right here in a minute. This thing is amazing. Like, you don't really see too many people doing stuff like this. So you go, watch on, all kind of rings on, like no problem. Like it's gonna definitely recognize what's what. And that's a lady's hand too. That's somebody else's hand. You can tell. That wasn't the previous guy's hand. But yeah, you can just, move each finger around and it's just recognizing it. I can just imagine what this is going to do for gameplay. I believe one of the founders of Naughty Dog, he's a head of Oculus, I believe, and he was just saying that we're not even at the tip of the iceberg with VR yet. And VR is going to be the next big thing, Here's some protective material they're testing and see if it's any more accurate or not. So I'm gonna, they're testing and see, okay, is this more accurate, or what works better? I'm guessing, how about something that's not grounded? As you can see, some of the fingers causing the error. See that with the ground stuff? Like, just to even think about testing all this stuff, See, they're marking down all the failures, all that stuff. Like, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome right there, So, moving on into free games. So a lot of you guys might have missed what Sony had said afterwards with like some of the execs and stuff like that. So we're going to get a couple of free games when the PlayStation 5 release. So imagine getting this expensive system, which will go on the price in a little bit, and then getting some free games. Make you feel like you did something. So right here we got Astro's Playroom, right? Free with the system. Astro's Playground is going to be automatically installed onto the PlayStation SSD. Ooh, excuse me. So you do not have to worry about downloading the game. It's going to be already on there from day one. Another game that's going to be popular with the crowd, Grand Theft Auto. It's going to be free from the launch of the console to the first 3 months, basically. So you can get Grand Theft Auto Online for free, download it to the system, as long as you do it within that first 90 days of the system launching. So if you do it within the first 90 days, you have Grand Theft Auto Online free. So that's basically what I would say like a $30, $40 game and a $50 game right there that you're going to get automatically just free, just for being a PlayStation customer. Sounds like a deal to me, right? And for everybody's favorite subject, the price. So this is what I'm expecting, guys. Now, I've already said that, I don't mind paying for something as long as it shows the value with it. And that's what they've been pushing, this value. So for the 825 gigs versions of the drives, and I say that and I'll explain in a minute, but this is what I think it's going to cost. Look at that. So this is my estimate. I know a lot of people's not going to be happy to see this. I'm probably going to be getting some flack for some of these slides. People's going to be like, oh, that's too expensive. You have to realize with the technology that they're putting in these systems, you got stuff that's not even released, stuff that hasn't been done before inside the PlayStation 5. I understand like people was pissed off about the PS3 thing, but like I said in a previous video, a lot of innovations came for that. This is going to be another innovation, innovative type system. So I don't think these prices are going to be too far off. Now, it could be possible that they come from what I'm hearing, from a lot of people say 450 and 500. I think at the minimum, the system is going to be 500 maybe for the disc version, maybe minimum $400 for the digital edition, but I'll price them $100 more because I feel like that's what they really should be. I think they're really going to come out for that. Because people are trying to say, oh, they only came out for the digital version just for it to be cheaper. Well, I don't think the Blu-ray drive is going to be that much money no more. I think the Blu-ray drives are like $20 to manufacture now, so I don't think that's going to break the bank much. But you got to think of how you pricing consumer products right now. Look at cell phone pricing right now. So this is not outside the realm of what I think should be priced. I really do believe that the digital edition of the PlayStation 5 is going to be about $500, and the disc version is going to be about $600. It could be $550, it could be cheaper. I would like for it to be cheaper. I'm not rich or nothing like that, but if that's the price, that's the price. Somebody said $1,000. I don't think it's going to be no $1,000. I think that's a lot of money. I don't think the game system is going to be that much, but this is what I feel like should be a fair price. And the old saying, what they said, if both sides feel like it's not fair, it was a fair deal. So now I did this. I'm putting my money on that Sony. I'm even saying maybe at launch is going to come out with a 1.65 gigabyte SKU. So for both systems, I really do feel this, and I feel like 825 is not going to be enough. I can tell you with my PS4, it's not going to be enough. That I'm already past that now. I'm at 1.5 already. So now this is what I think the price is going to be for those. About $100 more each system. The SSD is going to take up that $100. I don't even think Sony is going to make even much of a profit that first 2 years on that if they do this. I think there is. I really think that they're going to be coming out with the 1.65 terabyte version of these guys. Like, I would like to see it because honestly, I would just go ahead and get the 1.65 terabyte version. Honestly, it makes the most sense. Yeah, it's more money, but guess what? It's going to cost you regardless. So that's why I'm guessing the price is going to be. That's not to say that Sony won't come out with a cheaper price point, but that's why I feel like, if I was, the boss, I would probably do it for this price. People probably just going to be giving me hate mail and hate response. Hey, it's just opinions, man, until Sony drops it. But I don't be surprised either if they come out at these price points. If they come out with these price points and you complain, you got to come back and say, hey, Marquise, you was right. These price points, guys, I mean, we're not even just considering the system. Consider about all the innovation of the DualSense controller. Most likely they're going to throw like a little earbud headset in there. They're going to be throwing HDMI cables in there. So they're going to throw some stuff in there, so we'll see what they do with pricing, but that's what I feel. Now I'll put this up here because I've seen on eBay today that people are already going ahead and putting stuff on pre-order and charging $1,000. Now, some of these could be like some fake listings where they have their buddy go on and buy and then cancel out the listing. That one at top, actually, I checked it out, and that one's got deleted, actually. So that one for $1,000. You got money, that's fine, guys, but don't waste your money on eBay. These guys just gonna buy some systems and then just spend some more money, selling them for a higher cost. Don't do that, guys. Be smart with your money. Just go ahead, wait for the system. Even if it sells out the first week, Sony's gonna rush and try to get you more. Sony. If there's one thing that any corporation wants, is to make more money, and they know to make money they got to put out product. So they're gonna come out with product. Don't go spending $1,700 on the system, guys. That's just ludicrous. So don't do this. Then about the details, we still don't know a lot of stuff. I've heard that Sony should be coming out with a built-in processing box for the VR. So for those of you that are familiar with the VR, you know that there should be a processing box that comes, breakout box that you have to connect to the VR. Then you have all these cables. I thought it was in the front of the system at first, but now that I see like clear pictures, it's not. Is that included on the back of the system, or do we still have to have a breakout box? That's going to be a question. What's the back ports like? What is there more than just a HDMI and some USB ports in the back? I think there is, and I think there's a reason why they didn't show the back. I think we're going to learn about August what's on the back of that system, or if they're going to be doing a breakdown from what I hear. So we're definitely going to see what's on the back of the system, and I think that's going to be the biggest clue, and it's probably going to have the biggest surprises too. One of the heads that said there's a lot of surprises to be had. We have, they said right here actually that Sony revealed the console design, and that they kept it under wraps. They included the UI. The UI is going to be a big thing. So the UI, they said, is 100% redesigned. They said there was no pixel left untouched. There's very, very little things that's going to look similar to the PlayStation 4 about. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. With the Xbox, I know they're hearing it's going to be saying the same, which, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I agree with that a lot too. But with the PlayStation 5, we definitely going to be getting a treat. They said basically re-architecting the whole thing. I already told you about them going and telling the developers and the technician and engineers, engineer everything together. One more note about the VR. I personally think the VR is going to kind of be like the Oculus. I forgot what model that is, but the standalone model where it's going to have the sensors and stuff built in it. I don't think it's going to rely on the camera as much for the next VR. Well, we'll have to see. For now, we still have the regular VR. We're going to have to wait some time to get all that stuff in. Yeah, that's basically everything that I have right now, guys. I really do think that it's going to be an exciting time to release the these new systems out. It's going to be amazing. PlayStation is usually my favorite system, and I think the PS5 is just going to, Sony's killing the game with the PS5 before it releases. To see how it really does when it gets out in people's hands is another question. But I think, just with the event alone, the communications and everything like that, they're just going to really kill everything with it. I can't wait to see the other events. We know for sure that they're having another event in August. I'm going to definitely try to live stream that one to clear the schedule. So I'm just trying to get the date so I can make sure I have that day clear, to live chat with you guys and get on there. I can't wait to see what else they have in store for games. They saying that there's a lot of games, a lot of great games, AAA games that we don't know about yet. What are we going to get? They haven't showcased that yet. And note, the August event, from what I'm hearing, is not going to be the only event from Sony. So they got a lot of stuff planned. They didn't want to just throw everything out there. So they still leaving a lot of meat on the bone right now that, we're just waiting to just have right now, guys. So we'll definitely see what else they'll come out with. That's my overview of the PlayStation. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channels. And, my social media is there. My Twitter is there. My Facebooks. You guys got questions or just want to chat, I'm right there for you guys, So, take it easy. Peace, love. Be kind to everybody. And I'll see you guys later. Peace. One.